Let's move on to another issue here, which I know you, Claire, are really passionate about. This is social media and the social media debate around kids. Opposition Leader Peter Dutton has, of course, said they want to lift the minimum age to 16 to get on these things if elected. But now there's reports that many teenagers are coming out and criticizing the proposed policy. They say that social media is actually key to their healthy development and well-being and creates a place where they can socialize with friends, express themselves, and access support. I mean, to me, that was just, going over to mates' houses back in the day, but I don't know if we do that anymore. What do you think about this? Are they
well,
just
if the kids
talking,
say this, maybe we should listen to the kids.
Yeah, right.
Well, exactly. So I think, I'm a big advocate for no social media and, in fact, no smartphones under 16. Now, the reason being is not just what they're exposed to on social media, it's what they're not doing. So I've got kids that I see that are on their phones 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day. So if you go back,
you don't want to see what my screen time alert looks like.
You're working. You're working. I mean, these are 14, 13-year-olds, and they're supposed to be in school. And then where do they find this 8 hours? So in a previous generation, what were they doing in those 8 hours that they're not doing now?
Sure.
They were at their mate's place.
Yeah.
So of course, kids are going to say, "Well, that's where I socialise," because that's all they know. That's all they know. That's how they've been socialising on this platform. And it's like we're telling them we're going to take away socialisation. We're not. We're going to hopefully wind it back to a play-based childhood, which I think ends too early at 12 years old.
Yeah, look, I think you're right. I think you're right about that. But at the same time, Nick Cater, is some of the stuff about these limitations to social media, I also worry that in trying to fix the problem with teenagers, and young people, they could wind up creating things that will suppress free speech and the ability of people to just, speak out about issues like we saw during the pandemic and at other times. Nick Cater, where do you stand on this whole thing? Should there be a minimum age for teens? And are you worried that, as with the e-safety commissioner, which started out being about children, that we could wind up having more regulation of adults that we don't need?
Well, that's the problem, and I believe strongly there should be proper age limits on kids accessing social media, just as easy as driving cars or drinking alcohol, right? There's no issue with that. But of course, what we've seen in Australia is they set up an e-safety commissioner with the express purpose of keeping kids safe online. And within about 5 minutes, the mission creep had set in.
Sure.
And all these proposals are there for it to be the censor of misinformation, disinformation. No. Adults have to take responsibility for themselves. All we're saying here is that the evidence is very clear, James. You've seen it. Jonathan Haidt's book lays this out quite clearly, that there's a spike in youth suicide, youth depression, youth anxiety from 2012. When smartphones came in. Correlation is not causation, but I've looked at this closely and I'm convinced that is occurring. So we just have to say 13 is too young for Apple or Google to give you a kid at their own account. You can sit on the family account until you're at a decent age, 16 or 17. It obviously suits the big tech companies to suck people in early. Yeah, but that I think is what Peter Dutton is saying essentially. It really is just saying, some stuff's too dangerous for kids' minds to take in on their own.
No, I think that's absolutely right. I think it's well said there.